My name is Sombad. I am 80 years old, and I am going to tell you the secret ritual right now, at the very beginning, because honest communication does not make you wait for the thing it promised. The secret ritual that many people use before winning money is not a ritual at all. It is not a sequence of actions performed in a specific order before buying a ticket or making a bet or entering any contest of chance. It is not a visualization practice or a prayer said with particular intention or a physical gesture that activates some mechanism of cosmic favor. Those things do not produce winning. Mathematics produces winning, in the specific and indifferent sense that in any system of chance, some participants will win and the rest will not. And the determining factor is not preparation or ritual or the quality of the hope brought to the attempt. What the people who seem to win money consistently are actually doing before the win is not a ritual. It is the slow, unglamorous, completely non-dramatic accumulation of the conditions that produce genuine financial improvement over time. And when that accumulation finally reaches a visible result, it can look from the outside like a sudden win, like something that came through unexpectedly, like the reward for some particular preparation. But from the inside, it is almost always the product of many months or years of specific behavioral changes that preceded the visible result by a considerable margin. That is the secret, not a ritual before the lottery, the consistent practice of building the actual conditions that produce genuine financial outcomes. And the reason it is a secret is not that some people know it and guard it from others. It is that it is so unglamorous, so ordinary, so completely lacking in the drama that makes a secret feel worth knowing, that most people walk past it looking for something more interesting. Stay with me, because what I want to share about those actual conditions is genuinely useful in a way that no ritual could be. I was born in northern Thailand into genuine material scarcity. I have watched many people across 8 decades hope for the sudden win that would change everything. I have watched very few of them experience that win, and the ones who did experience genuine and lasting financial improvement, with or without any specific dramatic event that seemed to produce it, were almost always people who had been building specific things in their financial lives for a considerable period before the improvement became visible. The first thing that genuinely functions as a ritual before financial improvement is the daily practice of honest accounting. Not an elaborate ritual, the simple, consistent, completely unsexy practice of knowing what comes in and what goes out, with enough specificity to make genuine decisions rather than impressionistic ones. Most people who are hoping for the win that changes everything have never developed this practice. They have a general sense of their financial situation. They have feelings about it, but they do not have the specific and honest clarity that makes navigation possible. The person who develops the practice of honest financial accounting is building something that compounds. Not money necessarily at first, clarity. And clarity, applied consistently to financial decisions over months and years, produces genuinely different results than the vague hope that something external will arrive and solve the problem. Not because clarity is magical, because you cannot steer accurately from a position you cannot see clearly. And the daily practice of looking honestly at the actual numbers is the practice of seeing your position clearly enough to steer. The second thing that genuinely functions as a ritual before financial improvement is the consistent practice of claiming what the work you do is actually worth. This is the single most practically significant behavioral change available to the majority of people who are not receiving the financial results they want. The gap between what most people are receiving for their work and what that work would actually support if it were claimed accurately is enormous. And it is not determined by the market. It is determined by what is asked for. And what is asked for is determined by what is believed to be appropriate to claim. The ritual of honestly assessing what your work is worth and then claiming that amount consistently in the face of the discomfort that claiming often produces is a practice that over time changes the financial trajectory in ways that nothing else can replicate. Not because the universe rewards the claiming, because the market was always willing to pay more than what was being asked, and claiming accurately finally allows that available compensation to flow. And here's what I didn't understand then. The ceiling on my financial outcomes for many years was not placed there by the market. It was placed there by my own beliefs about what it was appropriate to claim. The market would have supported significantly more. My belief about what someone like me could reasonably expect to receive prevented me from asking for it. When that belief was examined and found to be based on inherited stories rather than actual market dynamics, and when I began to ask for what the work was actually worth, the financial results changed. Not through any ritual, through the specific and ordinary mechanism of asking accurately for what was available. The third thing that genuinely functions as a ritual before financial improvement is the consistent examination and revision of the beliefs you carry about your own financial worthiness. This is deeper than the second thing and is its foundation. The beliefs that limit what a person claims are not usually held consciously as beliefs. They present as realistic assessments of what someone in their position can expect. And because they are not held as beliefs but as facts, they shape behavior without ever being examined or questioned. The practice of examining those beliefs, of asking honestly where they came from and whether they are actually accurate rather than simply familiar, is the kind of inner work that the language of energy and ritual is trying to describe but cannot accurately address. Because the beliefs are not energetic, they are cognitive and historical. They were formed through specific experiences and absorbed specific messages from specific environments, and they can be examined specifically. And when examined specifically, they often turn out to be much less accurate than they felt when unexamined. And beliefs that are found to be inaccurate lose their automatic governing power over the decisions that follow. The fourth thing that genuinely functions as a ritual before financial improvement is the consistent practice of doing one specific thing each day that moves toward the financial life you want, rather than waiting for conditions to be better. This is perhaps the most direct and most reliable of all the practical rituals available. Because the financial life you want is produced by the accumulation of specific actions taken in the direction of that life over many days and months and years. And those actions are almost always available now, in the actual circumstances you are actually in, without waiting for conditions to improve first. The person who develops the practice of one specific, honest step each day toward the financial situation they want is building something that the person who is waiting for conditions to be right, or for the universe to send a signal, or for their energy to align, is not building. And the building, sustained over real time, produces real results that look from the outside like the reward for some ritual, but are actually just the predictable outcome of consistent, directed effort. You know what surprised me most when I began to understand financial change in this genuinely practical way? How ordinary the mechanism was. I had expected that genuine financial improvement would require some kind of special access to information or opportunity that most people do not have. What I found was almost the opposite. The mechanism was almost embarrassingly ordinary. Clarity about the actual situation, accurate claiming of actual value, examination and revision of limiting beliefs, consistent specific action in the direction of the desired outcome. Those four things, practiced consistently and honestly over real time, produce results that look impressive from the outside, but are from the inside just the predictable consequences of ordinary practices consistently applied. What most people don't realize is that the ritual they are looking for, the preparation before the win that changes everything, is this ordinary practice. Not performed once before buying a ticket, performed every day in the unglamorous moments that no cosmic narrative is being written about, but that together constitute the actual building of a genuinely different financial life. The reason this is a secret is not that it is hidden. It is that it is hiding in plain sight, dressed in the clothes of ordinary daily practice, completely lacking the drama that makes secrets feel worth discovering. The lottery ritual promises drama. The actual ritual is a Monday morning practice of looking honestly at the numbers and making one specific decision based on what you see. It is a Tuesday afternoon practice of asking for what your work is worth, and staying with the discomfort of that asking. It is a Wednesday evening practice of examining one belief that has been limiting what you claim, and asking whether it is actually true. It is a Thursday commitment to one small, concrete action that moves toward the financial outcome you want, taken not because conditions are perfect, but because the commitment has been made. Those are the rituals. Not magical, not cosmic, not available only to those who know the secret sequence, available to you right now in whatever ordinary circumstances this moment contains. At 80 years old, I can tell you that the people I have watched experience genuine and lasting financial improvement were almost always people who had been practicing these ordinary rituals consistently for a considerable time before the improvement became visible. Not because the universe was watching and waiting to reward the practice, because the practice was building the actual conditions from which better financial outcomes naturally emerge. Tell me in the comments which of these 4 ordinary rituals you are most consistently practicing right now, and which is most absent. Not the impressive answer, the honest one, because the honest answer is the one that tells you where the work actually is. And if this message gave you something genuinely useful to practice, stay close to this space, because the secret ritual before winning money is practiced not once before a lottery, but every ordinary day in the unglamorous moments where everything real is actually being built.